Hey, greetings, world! Us hairy game lords have been gaming in the garden this evening, and we have been all putting our minds together and having a game of the Mind Extreme. What do we think? Find out. Right, for those of you who have never played The Mind before, basically you can't talk, which is difficult in this games group. You can't communicate in any way whatsoever. You all have a card starting out on level 1, and you have to lay down that card in numerical order, going up from 0 all the way to 100. Obviously level 1's pretty easy. But as you climb up each level, you get, the equivalent cards. The Mind Extreme is, well, you've guessed it, it's extremely harder. In this game, the numbers of the cards go from 0 to 50, and then from 51 down to 0. So you get dealt out either white cards that go up or red cards that go down. No one knows. You don't know what other cards people have, and you play them down like you do in the Mind. There are also variants on it, so certain levels you have to play blind, and so you won't know until all cards are down whether or not you completed that round. And you have 4 lives, which very quickly go, and you also have some ninja stars or throwing stars that can help. That is if you get round to actually using them before you lose all of your lives. Guess what happened to us? So yeah, in terms of if you have the Mind, do you need the Mind Extreme? I think so. In fact, I think this is better than the Mind. It just felt a lot more fun around the table. And although there's no talking, there was still a lot of laughter and that annoyance as well. A good little game, really a real nice little filler, and one that needs to be in your collection. Get involved.
Slightly Beardy James here, and the Mind Extreme is it's a bit more of a brain burner than the other one. I enjoyed the Mind. We played it with 4 tonight. It's tough when you play the Mind with a bunch of guys you've not played with before. You're not in sync. You don't know you're counting. But actually, the Mind Extreme takes that a little bit away, because what happens is you've got 2 stacks that are growing at the same time. So you've got your whites, your reds. And so counting actually becomes more difficult. And struggle counting in just one set of figures. But when you're counting down on reds and up in whites, and sometimes you've got to put them face down, sometimes you've got to put them face up. Yeah, actually, you got more stuff your brain's juggling. And if you're simple like me, it actually makes it a bit more of a brain burner. And it removes that thing that the Mind had, where essentially you just get into the same clock as each other, and you end up counting in your heads. And this takes that away a little bit, makes it more of a struggle. I'd love to see what happens when you play this with a group or another person who you have more time to keep practicing with, to see how far you can actually get feasibly. But yeah, it's good, it's fun, it's a laugh, it makes your brain work.
Hi, Dave the Grey here. Hi!
Hey,
hello everybody, it's Dave the Grey!
That's staying in.
The original Mind I thought was okay. I enjoyed it once or twice, wasn't really a massive hit for me. This one, I think, although it's a similar sort of game, it just seems to have a lot more depth to it. It made James really struggle with his maths, as you can probably tell. You know, numbers that go up as well as down. Crazy!
It's hard, Dave.
It's hard. Maths! But just having the numbers incrementing and decreasing on both sides just keeps your mind active. And there were a couple of times when we were so busy concentrating on when to play the white cards that the red ones just got left behind, and Pete dived in, played a stupidly high card, ruined it for the rest of us. But you know, what can you do?
Bitter.
Not that I'm never bitter. If you watch, subscribe, watch back the old ones.
Dune.
And you will find out. Watch the Dune one especially. That shows
still
that
going on?
We don't need to
that
talk
I am
about
truly not a bitter man who holds a grudge. It's a really quick game. We ended up losing, as you obviously will eventually, because you just carry on going until you run out of lives. But playing with these fools, it was a lot of fun. Give it a whirl. There's actually surprisingly hidden depths to it.
Hipster King, and we've been playing the Mind Extreme. I've played the Mind once before, just at a convention, really quickly, just to get the hang of it. Haven't played Mind Extreme. Definitely already prefer it. So if you've got the Mind, this is worth the investment, and it's not a huge investment. They aren't ridiculously expensive games. This is a brilliant, fun little game that you know, it's so quick to get through a good few rounds. I've already said I'm getting this for holiday. This would be brilliant at a bar, you know, at a bar table, anything like that. It's a small box, so go in a pocket of your coat and just play with your friends. Lots of different people. You can play it with lots of different groups because it's simple, it's easy. You've just got to get the numbers in the right order, but you can't talk about it, and that is it. I loved the bit when it moved on to, I think it was at round 3, when you had to place the cards face down, because that added so much to the game, and sort of trying to work out what people were doing and what might have been played. And another beautiful bit is when you've got two cards really close together and trying to get them down before somebody else does. And actually, this is a game that is brilliant fun when you fail. And I love a game like that, because you're going to fail in this game, but when you realise how close you were to getting it right and one card was 1 point out, it's those moments that you remember. Mind Extreme, absolutely brilliant, loved it. Make sure you get it.
I'm just getting weed on here. That was like a good.
Shall we move it?
Could move.
When Andrew's finished.
Garden gaming, it's the way forward.
The way forward. It's meant to be in the lovely summer weather.
And do excuse Dave, just relieving himself.
I also look like I've wet myself because I've been caught in the drips in the garden.
Yeah.
That's my story. So.